morning. So, I titled this Confronted. You know, one of the hardest things for a quiet one is to get involved with confrontation. We can't stand it. We want to avoid it. Racina, I see you. Good morning. And we want to back out of it. We would much rather just say, okay, and just let the other person feel like they won. We don't like confrontation. We can't stand confrontation. And this is how we know that confrontation comes up is when something goes on up in our feelings. When something starts going on up in here in our feelings, and we start feeling like, did they just said something. I think I should be mad, and maybe I should say something to them. And we'll start rolling around in our minds about it, like, should I say something? No, it's not that big of a deal. Then we'll dummy it down, quiet one. Then we'll be like, yeah, it's not, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. I don't think they meant it like that. And we'll start making excuses. You know, maybe they was tired. Maybe they wasn't even talking to me. That probably wasn't even meant for me. They probably wasn't even talking to me. So I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna trip. I ain't gonna trip. And then the moment comes around again, and all this is an enemy that is being influenced through people that you love, people that you know, people that you think wouldn't come out of a trick bag. And so when the enemy starts influencing them, then God uses that moment. Listen to me. God uses that moment for you to confront the enemy. But we'll kind of cower it down like, no, he wasn't talking to me. This ain't that. This ain't that. It's okay. It's okay. It's really going to be great. And the reason why I'm laughing is because I do this, and I've done this, and I've gotten better at it. But there are moments where I'll just be like, yeah, I ain't going. I'm good. I'm not gonna say nothing, and I'll just zip all that up. So here's the thing, quiet one. I need you to pay attention to what the enemy is trying to do and how God is trying to use you in the moment of the confrontation. He wants to use you in the moment of the confrontation. So confront it. Confront that demon. Confront it. That's what David had to do. I always got to go back to David. If y'all was really tracking with me a few years ago, I was studying David, and I found him to be a quiet one. Apostle Deborah, I love you. And so when I started really studying David and how he had quiet one ways. But David, see, and this is what I want you to hear too, quiet one. You're a warrior. David was a warrior. And then his greatest asset was his worship. He worshiped the Lord. He worshiped his way out of stuff. He worshiped his way into the presence of God. And so when confrontation started hitting David, David had to do something. Where Saul tried to kill him 3 times. Well, he tried to kill him a lot. But those 3 times where David was called to, be his psalm, just play for him. And play this nice sound for King Saul. During that time, King Saul with his crazy self was shooting spears at him. And David ducking and dodging it and still playing. Like, this ain't that. It's okay. He's not trying to kill me. He didn't confront confrontation. And so he's still dodging. He's still ducking. It's okay. It's great. It's great. It's okay. I'm going to still play anyway. I'm going to still play because it's okay. It's okay. There's a quiet one tendency to where we want to avoid it because we don't want to see the aftermath, or we don't want to see the explosion of the confrontation. Because number one, quiet ones don't like to argue. We can't stand arguing because we don't know how. We don't know how to argue. And so when we want to confront somebody, it's because, look, I want you to understand what's going on here. And so, yes, come on now, Rose. We like peace. And so when we get confronted with something that we got to address, then we're like, man, that's going to start an argument. What one of the way you put myself out there, one of the biggest challenges I had this year was to confront the person that molested me. And that was the hardest thing that I ever had to do, because I had to understand within myself who I was confronting. I wasn't confronting my female family member. I wasn't confronting that person. I was confronting a spirit. And when you recognize the spirit behind the influence of the person that you know that you need to confront, then that is when God will rise up inside of you and address you to who you are. I need you to hear me. He will start addressing you to who you are. You're like, in that moment, I was not Kenyatta Hall. I am a child of God. I'm God's daughter. I'm a warrior. I'm a champion. I am set on high. God has created me for this. And for that moment, God had to rise up in me, and I had to confront her. And so within the confrontation, she was trying to get me to recant my statement. And she was wanting me to recant what happened to me. You know what, Kenyatta, that didn't happen to you. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying this about me? And I said, well, first of all, I haven't been saying all this about you. You have been going around the family talking about what I said. And so I have not opened my mouth and said, yeah, it was her. She did this. No, I have not been doing that. You did this. And so she's like, no. And I'm telling you, the words that were coming out of her mouth, I never heard before. And when it was coming out of her mouth, God kept telling me, I got you. Confront it, confront it, confront it. And I was just like, but God, I don't want to confront this, because do you hear what she's saying to me? Do you hear this? I don't know how to fight against this. I don't know. And he was like, good, let me fight it. And so when you begin to recognize how weak you are, and I don't know if y'all saw my post, I think it was last week, when I said, I'm tired of being strong. And God says, well, good, because that's actually your weakness. Give it to me. In that moment, I had to recognize how weak I really am and allow God to build his strength inside of me. And so when I allow God to build his strength inside of me is when I could talk to the enemy that was influencing my family member. And so when I began to allow God to become my advocate, because a lot of times we'll rise up in our own flesh and we'll rise up with the same strength that they're coming up against us with. She was yelling at me. She was screaming at me. She was almost cussing me out. And I could have rose to that same level of intensity that she was rising up with me against. But all I did was I was talking to her how I'm talking to you. I was like, no, that didn't happen. No. Trauma builds a lot of, different reactions out of people. And I was, just trying to explain. And I was talking normal. I was talking like this. I didn't rise to it. And all that was God. Because usually when we're confronted with something, we will fight and we will raise to the level of intensity, because when it starts getting loud, then we'll get loud. We'll be like, wait a minute, no, this ain't that. And then a full-blown range argument will just explode and take place, and then we'll feel like, you know what, now I gotta defend myself. Now my walls, now my guards are up, and now I gotta defend myself. And so in that moment, you got to recognize your weakness and allow God to become your strength. And when you allow God to become your strength, then that is when he will start fighting for you. Literally, God was just saying, I could hear him in my mind say this to her. Say that to her. Don't pay attention to that comment she just made. Don't pay attention to that comment she just made. And so he was causing me to see who I was talking to. I was talking to insecurity. I was talking to trauma. I was talking to rejection. I was talking to depression. I was talking to all them spirits that was being influenced through her. And when God began to cause me to see who I was talking to, it began to tone my language down. And it began to tone me down completely because he began to rise up within me. And Facebook, I'm so sorry that I cannot see your comments. Why can't I see your comments? I don't know. But I love y'all, and I don't understand why I can't see your comments. Jesus. Anyway, I'm almost done. But after I got off the phone with her, and I'm relating all this to David because David had to confront an enemy. David had to confront jealousy, envy, strife, rejection. Saul was full of all of that. And then not only that, before Saul even got into it, he had to confront Goliath, an intimidating, not manipulative, but an intimidating spirit that wanted to invoke fear in everybody. And so when David had to confront these spirits, don't you know God had to become his strength? God had to become his strength. And so when God became his strength, God was his advocate then. David didn't have to fight no more. God, you got this. You take this. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. I'm listening to that song, okay? But, okay, so after the confrontation with my family member, I broke completely down. Like, I broke down all the way down to the point where I was just like, I don't know what just happened. And what I needed to recognize in that moment was that through the whole phone call, God was fighting for me, advocating for me. But then after the phone call is where I had to allow God to build me back up. Because I felt drained, I felt exhausted, I felt like I lost a fight, I felt like I had been into the boxing ring with Mike Tyson. I'm dating myself because I don't know who the current champion is. But I had to just really get into a place, and then God sent people my way. God sent people my way. I got texts, I got phone calls, I had someone come over physically to come over to my house, and God sent people my way to build me back up. And see, and this is what you got to realize, Quiet One, when you confronting an enemy, you got to know who you are. You got to know that you are a child of God. And God is not going to leave you in the madness. He's not going to leave you in the moment to where you're feeling like, I'm all by myself, I can't do this. No. He is going to confront what has confronted you, what is trying to kill you, what is trying to take you out, what is trying to get you to cower down in your mind and in your thinking, what is trying to make you feel like you're crazy. And so this demon was trying to make me feel like I'm crazy, I'm wrong, that I'm the one that should be recanting what happened to me and take it back. Take what you said back, Kenyatta. You know that didn't happen. Trying to make me feel like I was crazy. And for a moment, I started feeling like, well, maybe that didn't happen. Maybe I should just say that. My bad. After all, it was just a touch. So maybe, yeah, I'll just say it. And see, because we want to be in peace land so bad, will say something that's not true for the sake of peace. Can I tell you that that's an enemy that is trying to interrupt your peace? And the only way you're going to get peace is to go through the war. You have to go through the war, because after the war is where peace will start to rise up. Do you know that even though hell is still taking place in this here little woman's life, me right here, yes indeed it is, but because I chose to go through this war with God, in Deuteronomy 20 verse 4, it says God will go with you in the battle to fight for you, to bring you a victory. But you have to choose to go in the war. So I chose to go into the war. When I went into the war, God went with me. And so because he went with me, that is when he's bringing me peace. He's bringing me victory. And so you can't see what I'm going through right now. It's not showing up because I got God's peace. I got his strength. I recognize that I'm weak. So here, God, take this weakness. I'm going to trade it for your joy. Here, take this right here, this shutdown that I want to do. I want to take your peace. And so you start taking things from heaven that's already available to you. When you start feeling that weakness, God, here, I need some strength. So here, take that. Take that. Okay, you going to give me your strength? Okay, I got it. Thank you. Okay, I'm feeling a little depressed right now. I'm feeling a little weary. Here, take that and take that. Okay, you going to give me, okay, here's the joy. Okay, give me the joy. Thank you. Okay, I got some joy. When you begin to learn how to do that, the hell that you're going through back there will be just a little light affliction. That's what the word says. This little light affliction. This little light thing is just, it's going to pass, because I know who I am. You got to know who you are. You have to know who you are. Right? Okay, I think I've extended my time and I have to go. I love y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. Miss Yvette, I see you. I see all y'all. Inger, I see y'all. Okay, I'm not going to shout out all your names. I got to go. I don't want to be late for work because, yeah, like I said, I guess I got to be to work late. Early. That was a Freudian slip, huh? Okay, Mickey D, I see you too. Okay, I love y'all. Recognize who you are. Recognize who you are. I'm a child of God. I am righteous. I am loved. I am blessed. I am petty. I know the word don't say that, but I am petty. And I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm done. I love y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a great, fantabulous, peaceful day, y'all. All right, I'm out.